6:21 here, Big 550 KTRS. California did something really interesting. They passed and signed into law what is considered one of the toughest vaccine laws in the country after that measles outbreak. Let's get to it. Alex Stone's been following this story for ABC News. Good morning, Alex Stone.
Hey, McGraw, good morning to you. Yeah, this comes after that measles outbreak back from December that started in December and went on for quite some time. A number of children got sick in California, and the state said, as a group, the legislature said something needs to be done. And this got quite a bit of support from both sides of the aisle, from lawmakers, but there were some areas of California, primarily more well-to-do areas, Orange County, Marin County, areas where there is a lot more money, where parents' groups came out and said, we do not want this law. Do not force us to vaccinate our children. Some lawmakers from those areas opted not to, one saying she agreed vaccinations are important. She believes that they should be mandated, but because her constituents didn't want it, she voted against it. Nonetheless, it passed easily in the Assembly and in the Senate in California. Now the state has what some are saying is the toughest law when it comes to childhood vaccinations.
Did Governor Moonbeam sign this law yet?
Yeah, he signed the law yesterday. Governor Jerry Brown yesterday signing it when he did, saying the science is clear that vaccinations protect children. The supporters of this law from, again, Democrats and Republicans who are supporting it say that this is about protecting those kids who are too young. Babies can't get vaccinated, or those who are too sick, those with diseases and illnesses that don't allow them to get vaccinated, to protect them from getting sick, that they feel this is necessary. Still, though, a lot of parents are saying, don't tell me what to do. They don't believe in vaccinations. They feel like this is not constitutional. They feel like it is infringing upon their personal belief, and they want this thing tossed out.
Not only that, Alex Stone, but this bill did not leave a lot of loopholes for exemptions, correct?
Well, it got rid of all the exemptions. The only thing that would exempt you now, a child, would be if they are too sick, if they have cancer, if they have something else that won't allow them to get vaccinated. Until now in California, as a parent, all you had to do is say, I have a personal belief against vaccinations, and then you didn't have to vaccinate your child, or you had a religious exemption. This gets rid of the religious and the personal belief exemptions, and that's what's angering so many parents. Now, they did add in an amendment. The first version of this bill would have mandated that all children get vaccinated, or parents could have been in serious trouble. Now they wrote in that you can homeschool your child, but you cannot send them to public school or to any sort of formal institution if they have not been vaccinated. That has parents now saying they're going to start homeschooling their kids, even parents who have never thought about homeschooling their kids until now.
And this clearly, Alex Stone, I guess outside looking in, if this measles outbreak didn't happen, this bill wouldn't have happened.
Most likely it wouldn't have, at least for now. That there has been talk about a bill like this in the past, but it was measles that really sparked it, because so many people got sick, in California especially, and most of those who got sick, 80-some-odd%, were unvaccinated. And those who had been vaccinated, doctors say it doesn't work in everybody, and it's not that they got sick from getting vaccinated, it's just they weren't protected, and those victims of measles didn't know it. But it may have come up at some point, but likely wouldn't have had the passion behind it, because nobody would have cared. They would have said, what's the big deal? Why are we passing this?
With all this talk about religious rights and gay marriage and the Affordable Care Act and the Constitution, anybody challenging this? Anybody getting a stay? Anybody trying to work this to the Supreme Court?
Well, they've tried in the state courts, and the state courts have said, we're not going to hear it, because they feel that, according to the courts, that because there is the exemption now that you can homeschool your child if you do not vaccinate your child, that it doesn't infringe upon a constitutional right, because they say it's not taking away an education from a child. So the courts so far are not backing up opponents. The lawmakers are obviously not backing them up as they passed this, and passed it with pretty overwhelming support. Still, though, there is a lot of anger, and parents say that they are going to continue to fight it, even though a wide majority of doctors in California say, look, you got to get your child vaccinated. There is no actual solid proof that vaccinations do any harm. Nonetheless, the parents who believe that they do harm, they don't want to hear that, and they're going to continue fighting that they feel like they're unsafe for their child.
Just so we understand, in California, if you want to send your kid to a public school or a private school, they must be vaccinated.
Once the law takes effect here in a couple of months, you're right. Mississippi and West Virginia have very similar laws. Their laws are nearly identical. California's goes a little bit beyond that. But yeah, and technically in most states, that is the law, but there are exemptions, and oftentimes it's those personal belief exemptions that parents can use.
Right, but in California, though, there are no personal exemptions. There are no religious freedom exemptions. If you want to send your kid to a school, they must be vaccinated.
They must be vaccinated unless they have some medical reason why they can't be vaccinated.
Yeah, really interesting stuff. Alex Stone following this story in California. Alex, thanks for checking in.
You got it. Thanks, McGraw. Have a good day.
You got it. 728 here, Big 550 KTRS. What do you think?
Hey, not a parent, but I am a member of the public.
Right.
And yes, I think it's...
I could be susceptible to measels. So,
yeah, because it's been a long time since,
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's necessary.
Clearly, I mean, there's zero evidence that the vaccines cause any harm. But that doesn't, it's, with all this talk about religious freedom and religious freedoms being infringed upon, the religious freedom argument goes to gay marriage, whereas no one's forcing the Catholic Church to perform gay ceremonies, right? Mm-hmm. So the religious freedom, when you talk about gay marriage, is still very much intact. Mm-hmm. But where your religious freedom, if you want to make that argument, is under attack, is with the vaccines.
Yes.
If you believe in a religion in which you don't believe in modern science, you're a Christian Scientist or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't want to vaccinate your kid for a myriad of reasons, doesn't matter the reasons, but if your religion doesn't believe in modern medicine, if you will, or believes in the power of prayer, the state of California just said, too bad. If you want to send your kid to a private school or to a public school, they have to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
That's religious freedom under attack. Now, whether it's justifiable or not, that's another story. But it seems to me like that's a better argument than the gay marriage argument with the religious freedom.
I think, though, there were some parents who were taking that religious freedom a little bit too
far. They were certainly using it. Yeah.
They were using it.
They were using it as a reason to, because they didn't want to for whatever other reason. Yeah, no question about that. 7:30 here, Big 550 KTRS. Really interesting stuff. That what do you say? Mississippi and West Virginia and California have the toughest vaccine laws in the country. That I never would have gotten that wrong on Jeopardy. 7:30 here, Big 550 KTRS.